It's been my experience in 30 years of practicing law that people who've been wronged generally have one of several responses. Some people get very angry and they're saying, I want to know who did this to me, and I want to take them to court, and I want to hold them accountable immediately. To those people I say, welcome to our law firm, because that's something we really believe should be done. But there's another group of people who are more reticent, who are saying, I never really thought I'd be in a legal system. I never thought I'd file a lawsuit. I'm a little nervous about that. Did someone really do something wrong? To those people, let me talk to you for a minute about asbestos and what the companies knew. People are appalled, rightly appalled, to find out that companies knew in the 1940s that there was a suspicion asbestos caused cancer. By 1955, with Sir Richard Dahl's study, it was shown and published that asbestos caused lung cancer. By 1960, the companies that deal with asbestos knew asbestos exposure caused this special mesothelioma cancer. The companies had this knowledge, and the companies went and worked very hard at two different things. First, they just tried to hide it. They wanted to give it the least publicity possible. But second, the companies worked hard to give what we would call disinformation. In other words, they would paint those studies as outliers, as studies that didn't really tell the whole truth. And the companies would desperately fund other studies to try and dilute the power, or at least the perceived power, of the findings of good medical scientists. What the companies were trying to do was to ensure that there was a market for their products. As one executive put in writing, yes, people will die, but by the time they die, we will have made our money and will be long retired. That type of behavior requires accountability. If we do not hold corporate America accountable, if we don't hold people accountable for these types of decisions, we're not leaving the world a better place. Not at all. And it's our job to do something different. There was a study done by the Industrial Hygiene Foundation, and it was done in Quebec, Canada, among asbestos miners. 60 copies of a draft report of that study was prepared. This is in the 1960s. That study indicated that asbestos caused cancer, and instead of releasing that study, the asbestos companies wrote a big mark and took out the section on neoplasms, cancer. And instead, in the final product, gave the opposite conclusion of what the evidence said. Evidence said asbestos causes cancer. The published version said asbestos does not. Then the company took those 60 restricted drafts and destroyed almost every one so that no one would ever know what they did. I say almost every one because one executive kept a copy and put it in his attic in Canada, Quebec, Canada. I know this because we went and got it. I personally flew up to Quebec, Canada and acquired it. We keep it in a safety deposit box. It's that important. It's the restricted copy that shows the original knowledge the companies had that they purposefully hid. These companies have not just those types of documents. We've been able to gather documents from a variety of ways. I can tell you about the brake company, where in the 1960s the letter was written to the product safety head that says, hey, have you heard asbestos causes mesothelioma? And the response from this corporate head was, and it's in writing, well, people have to die from something. They made a living from asbestos, they might as well die from it. That type of a callousness must be held accountable. Our society is set up where if people don't step up and hold others accountable, then our whole society is at risk. Heaven forbid the companies get away with behavior that's maliciously bad because of hesitancy of someone to bring a claim. I urge you to consider letting us bring this claim on your behalf. Let's hold the companies accountable. Not only is it right for you, your loved ones, but it's right for the next generation. It's the way we stop another asbestos tragedy from unfolding.